All right, let's take the next 5 minutes to really break down generative AI, a technology so powerful, some people are saying it's the next stage in human evolution. So, what is this thing really, and how does it even work? Let's dive in.
So right off the bat, let's just appreciate the scale of what we're talking about here. This isn't just another software update. The biggest claim out there is that generative AI is a fundamental shift, a major leap in human evolution itself. I mean, that's a massive statement, right? So let's try to unpack what could possibly justify that kind of talk.
To get your head around a claim that big, you have to think about humanity's other giant leaps, things like language or electricity. The argument is that GenAI is right up there with them. The analogy they're using compares it to the development of the neocortex in our own brains, the part that handles all the complex thinking. In this view, the internet was like building a global nervous system, and now GenAI is becoming the brain that can think using it.
Okay, so that's the grand, almost sci-fi vision. But let's bring it back down to earth for a second. What does that word generative actually mean? What's the core idea here that sets this tech apart from everything that came before?
Here it is. This is the key distinction. For years, AI has been all about predicting things. You'd feed it labeled data, like a million photos tagged cat or not a cat, and it would learn to recognize cats. But generative AI? It's playing a whole different ballgame. It digests enormous amounts of unstructured stuff, like the entire internet, and it learns the deep down pattern so it can create something totally new. It doesn't just identify, it invents.
So, how does it invent? Well, the magic really starts with something called a neural network. And to put it simply, it's a computer system that's modeled after the human brain. It's specifically designed to find all those hidden relationships and connections within data. This is the fundamental engine that makes all these generative models go.
So if you're trying to build a mental map of all this, here's how it fits together. You've got the huge field of artificial intelligence. Inside that, you have machine learning. A key part of that is deep learning, which uses those complex neural networks we just talked about. And right in there, as a specialized and incredibly powerful subset, that's where you find generative AI. It's kind of like the tip of the spear.
Now let's peek under the hood a little. The engine that's driving so much of this revolution is the large language model, or LLM. You've definitely heard the term, but how is one of these things actually built? Well, from a high level, the process is pretty logical. You start by collecting just an unbelievable amount of data. Then you have to clean it all up. That's called pre-processing. Then comes the really heavy lifting, the model training, where it learns all the patterns. After that, you test how well it's doing, you let it start generating content, and you just keep optimizing and tweaking it to get better.
But here's the catch. While that process sounds straightforward, the scale is almost impossible to imagine. To train just one of these foundational models, like GPT-4, the reported cost was over $100 million. Yeah, this is not a weekend project you do in your garage. It takes computational power and resources on a truly massive scale.
So we know it's powerful and incredibly expensive to build, but what does that actually mean for us? In the real world, what can these new creative machines do?
The applications are just exploding. It's not about one single thing. It's across text, code, images, speech, video, you name it. I mean, think about it. It can help write your emails, debug your code, generate a stunning piece of art from just a sentence, synthesize a voice, or even compose an original piece of music. It's becoming a universal tool for creation. And all this creative power translates directly into business value. We're talking about massive productivity gains, innovating faster, and real cost savings. In healthcare, it's assisting with diagnoses. In education, it's making customized lesson plans. In media, it's automating content creation. This isn't just a tool for artists. It's a force that's transforming the whole economy.
And this brings us to a really crucial point, our relationship with this technology. We aren't just passive consumers here. We are the directors, we're the conductors of this new digital orchestra.
And the key skill for conducting this orchestra is something called prompt engineering. It sounds technical, but it's not magic. It's simply the technique of crafting the perfect instruction, the perfect prompt to guide the AI toward producing exactly the output you're imagining.
Here's a perfect example of what that means in practice. If you ask an AI to just tell me about cats, it's super vague, and you're going to get a generic, rambling answer. But if you ask it to write a detailed 5-sentence summary about cats, now you're being specific. You've given it a task, a format, and a constraint. The quality of what you get out is directly tied to the quality of what you put in.
Of course, any tool this powerful comes with a whole new set of very complex problems we have to solve. We have to be really clear-eyed about the risks.
There's a very real potential for misuse, there are huge questions about data privacy, and let's not forget the enormous environmental cost of training these massive models. These aren't small issues, they are the next big frontier of challenges for all of us to figure out.
So we've seen what GenAI is, how it's built, and what it can do. This really puts all of us on a path, from just being a user of these tools to becoming a super user, a developer, or maybe even a researcher building the next generation. So the final question is for you. As this new creative machine continues to evolve, where will you fit in?